Hi there, this is Professor Nebulous live. Professor Nebulous live. Welcome on board T-Soft. Oh, you're welcome, Charles. Let me give you access to the video. Accept. Accept. You are welcome to the. Okay. Welcome, T-Soft.
Yes, sir. Good
Oh,
evening.
you're welcome. Yeah. We are expecting our guests. We have a special guest today. We have a special guest. He's a popular guy that you all know. Those of you who don't know him by his name, definitely you must have watched his program one way or the other. He's a popular and endowed journalist, a writer and author, New York based, and also a blogger of repute. We'll be privileged to have him on board today as we discuss this all important topic. If you were President Bola Tinubu, what will you do? If you were President Bola Tinubu, what will you do? There is a plethora of problems in Nigeria today. If we begin to take them one by one, we will not be able to do justice to it. But the combination of all the problems that are plaguing our people is the definition of two words: poverty and misery. If we're going to run everything up, summarize all that is plaguing Nigeria today, is a definition of two words: poverty and misery. To the extent that people are wondering, where is the human face in this administration? Not just this administration, where is the human face in government? If an ordinary Nigerian goes to the market, the face he or she sees is lion face. If he goes to the hospital, the face he sees is that of a tiger. If he goes, to one place or the other in terms of security, what confronts him is a python. Now, the ordinary Nigeria is beginning to wonder, where is the human face? Where is the hiding place for an ordinary Nigerian? That is the problem. Oh, Dr. Damages, I have not introduced you. I'm waiting for you to hide somewhere before I introduce you. Ladies and gentlemen, our special guest today is a New York-based journalist, a writer, presenter, an author. He's a blogger. If you don't know him by his name, Dr. Rudolph Okonkwo, you know him by his popular program called Dr. Damages. One way or the other, you must come across this gentleman. We knew each other way back in the 1990s when we were both journalists in a particular magazine in Lagos. Ever since, this young man has been soaring, especially when he relocated to America. So he has been writing, busy himself writing with Sahara Reporter, all sort of things. So here we have Dr. Rudolph Okonkwo today as we discuss, if you were Bola Tinubu, what will you do? Like I was saying earlier on, Dr. Damages, there is a plethora of problems in Nigeria today. If we are to be mentioning them one by one, we will not live here. But the summary, the sum total of all the problems that are plaguing Nigeria can be summarized and defined in 2 words: poverty and misery. Poverty and misery. An ordinary Nigerian, if he goes to the market, he sees the face of a lion. If he goes to the hospital, he sees the face of a tiger. If he goes to school, he sees the face of a leopard. And if he talks about security, maybe I want to travel from one place to the other, what confronts him is a python. And now he's now beginning to wonder, where is human face? Where do I turn to? Now, before the president right now are all these problems. Some of us believe that the country is not poor, that the poor people are just being made to suffer for nothing. We are now asking if the president, who called himself Jagaban, Mr. Fix-It, and somebody who is able to survive and succeed even where angels have failed, if he's the same person. We are saying that there is enough money that has been stolen by past administrators whom he knew. I mean, he knows some of them. Does he have the political will to repatriate this money, to bring this money out and redistribute it so that the ordinary Nigerian will have breathing space? Does he have the political will to do that? Because we are going to be naming them one by one, including the monies that snakes swallow, the one the termite devoured. So if we beam searchlight into all these things, we will have more than enough, not only to pay our debt, but also to put smiles on the faces of Nigerians. And these people are still, many of them are still resident in Nigeria. They are not ghosts. Does he have the willpower? Does he have what it takes to actually confront this monster and take the money from them, redistribute? Right now, I understand that health care is going to cost ordinary Nigerian 150% more. 150% more. Tariff on electricity is on its own. Not to talk of the existing hardship that Nigerians are facing. Which way, Nigeria? Dr. Damages.
Thank you so much. It's nice to be here, and I want to thank the audience, those who are watching. I appreciate you and the work you do. It's an honor to be invited.
Thank you.
So your question was,
if you were the president.
How can I be?
Well, I just to step into his shoes. Step into his shoes.
Yeah, I know. Let's start from the first thing. There's no way I can be Jagaban because I know my classmates, those that I went to school with. I have my certificate home here. I can show it. so first of all, the baggage that he brought to the position is a problem. So, then we should forget about that and start where we are. But it's very difficult. It's very difficult. Let me give you an example. There's this story of Mesoma, the young girl who they said made up jam results. I don't know the facts. I've not had time to look into it. But people are saying now, why are they bothering her? That Tinubu did the same thing. Tinubu gave the example that you can get anywhere you want to get to by any means possible. That what matters is that you got there. So that's we have to deal with the baggage and before we can go on. But even at that, if I were to be, let's say I carry all those things and I ended up as president, the first thing to say is, look, come clean. He has to do something. You don't come clean and say, look, I know I've not been open, I've not been transparent about who I am. This is what I am. This is who I am. We can't move forward. We can't pretend that there is nothing, that the person there is clear to us who he is. So we have to clear that. But let's say we cleared it. The next thing is, what do you do? And the reason why the past is impossible and the background of anybody is impossible is that if you want Tinubu to do something and you don't know who Tinubu is and how he got to where he is, these are the things that will be handicapped, that will stop him. I can say to Tinubu now, for instance, and say, okay, Mr. President, what we need in this country, and that's something we need, is transparency. Yes, there's no transparency in Nigeria. We don't know NNPC, how many staff they have, how much they are paying them, we don't know anything. We don't know how much the president makes. We don't know how much he gets in security votes. We don't know what the governors get in security votes. So let's start from transparency. Release your declaration of assets. If I were the president, I will give you my own. If you want now, I'll tell you how much I have in the bank. I can do that. But he can do it because of the past. Things that are hidden, things that, So that's where we're going to start. Transparency, accountability. You don't even need to deal with. Most things will be taken care of if open. There was a time in Massachusetts when I used to live there. The governor, I don't remember the governor, that came in and decided to publish the salaries of everybody, all government officials in the state. Publish them in the newspapers, on websites. You can see your friend, how much they make, who works for the government. He did want that. So transparency. So for instance, if we find out that million a month, then I will be able to know why he is able to change his car every week, or be able to understand. And it's easier for agencies of government like EFCC to say, oh, this person is stealing money, because you can account for this. If Tinubu is a billionaire, he's a billionaire in dollars. How? You should be able to say, this is my declaration of assets. This is how I make my money. This is how I got to where I am. Everybody will know it, and things will be quiet. But he can do it. That's what I would do if I were him. First of all, transparency, accountability, make things open. You'll be amazed. Nigeria will be shocked. I mean, they'll be shocked, and then things will arrange itself. That's where to start.
Okay. That is where to start. That's transparency.
Yeah.
Openness. And just letting people know who you are.
Yep.
Where you are from. Your pedigree.
Everything.
Yeah. And what you have.
Yeah.
That includes your certificate and where you obtained them.
You were born, everything. It should be open. That's the way to begin. Then you have people will trust you. I don't trust anything he's saying. I don't know who he is. I don't know which one. But
what about if he, because of people like you, go the whole hog in transforming Nigeria within just 1 year, and everything that you guys are afraid of is doing them as if he had some magic wand. In the next 1 year, you see the roads were tarred. You see our money being, taken, collected from the looters who have looted yesterday.
Oh, yeah, let me address that, because that's very important.
Okay.
I once wrote an article when Jonathan wanted to remove the oil subsidy. I wrote an article where I told the president then that this is how you can get this money you are looking for. And I listed several ways that he could get the money. Okay, so you're expecting someone like Bola Tinubu. Now, they will bring 10 billion or 20, 50 billion that you stole from River State, or go to someone like Ganduje, say bring back 100 billion that you stole from Kano State. How do you think it's possible? Why it's not possible is that those people also know what Tinubu did. So Tinubu, you have to come clean before you can demand, how do you say that, equity? It's saying you have to be clean yourself to be able to say.
When you come to equity, you must come with clean hands.
Exactly. So if I were Ganduje and I know as governor, I would take it like governors. Most governors average take 2 billion average. For states like Kano, Rivers, Lagos, they probably take 1 billion, 5 billion every month. So someone like Ganduje was taking 1 billion. for 8 years. If you calculate what probably.
Wow. I don't know if it's only here. Your voice is just is dropping.
Oh, it's dropping. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe it's the phone I'm using. Okay. Is it better?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, much better now.
I'm holding it now. I left it. Okay. So let's say Ganduje, for instance, took 1 billion every month for 8 years. How much is that? That's 12 times 8. So almost 100 billion. A security vote. This is not the bribe. This is not the pay. This is not the contracts that were inflated. This is not. So we can assume that governor like Wike, Ganduje, Lagos State governor, they all took at least 100 billion. They know that. They know that Tinubu also took the same amount, similar amount when he was governor. And you now tell Ganduje, oh, you have to return the money you stole. What do you think Ganduje will do? Or Wike? What do you think they will do when they know that you did the same thing? So some of the things you are thinking he will do, it's not possible. And it's not that these people don't know. They are not totally dumb. All these people that govern Nigeria, what they call them, Jonathan or Buhari. Buhari said that oil subsidy is a scam. He said this before he became president. He knew it. He was minister for oil, petroleum for a long time before he became president. He was minister when he was president, but he didn't do anything. Why? Why do you think he didn't do anything? It's not that he didn't have the willpower. It's because when he looked at this, he saw that those people doing this are his friends. He saw that he can't say certain things. He can't press them because there are things he's doing that they can come out and say, hey, what about you? So that's why I don't have confidence in them. I'm not saying building roads is not what impresses me about any government. I mean, we need the roads to be done. And we don't even know who builds the roads in America. We don't clap for them. There are no ceremonies when they open any road in America. Nobody cares about that. You do your job. This is something that should be like you pay people salary and we clap for you. That's nothing. No, I'm not impressed by that. I'm not looking for those things. They are expected. They are minimum. I think the problem
But they're not being done. Even that is not being done.
I know, but I'm not going to clap for you because you're doing it. I'm not. This is not my. That's not the issue. And the first thing is expectations are very low in Nigeria. Very low. People have already started clapping for Tinubu that he's about to transform Nigeria. For what? What did he do? What did he do? Tell me. Give me one example. What he did. He removed the subsidy, and he couldn't figure out. I mean, do you know what's going on in Nigeria today? People are not going to work. People are not basically, if we are a country that has a way of calculating productivity, we'll be shocked at what happened in the last 1 month. And there's no solution moving forward. The prices of things are out of reach of ordinary people. They are not complaining now. They're complaining inside their homes. People are suffering. Talk to people on the street. I don't mean talk to your friends or talk to people on the street. And you'll be shocked what's going on. And they are not laying out what the plan is. In fact, the biggest surprise is that the money they thought they would get from oil subsidy removal, they're not going to get the money. I don't understand that people who say Nigeria is a scam, but it's actually true. The scam is everywhere. So I feel sorry for people who want to govern Nigeria and who are not willing to be open, to be transparent, and to come out clean, because they will be stalked by their friends who are aware of how they started and where they went to and what they did. I don't know how Tinubu is going to do it. I don't know how anybody is going to do it if they are not open. All right, go ahead.
Okay, the floor is open, so you can ask Dr. Damages some questions if you have. In the interim, let me chip in this. The situation you have just painted is that of hopelessness. So what do you expect an ordinary Nigerian who is nursing the hope of a better tomorrow, to do? It's like you are saying that because of Bola Tinubu's pedigree and all the things surrounding him, he is not likely to be able to deliver the goods. So is that what you are saying?
Well, ordinary Nigerians, they're also responsible. They're part of the problem. I don't blame them a lot because some of them are totally unaware of their power, the power they have. They feel so powerless. Some of them, they've been so impoverished that they are not able to think outside the box. But I think that with the advent of technology and the fact that people can now stay in one country and see what's happening in Ghana, what's happening in Kenya, what's happening in other African countries, they should demand more. They should demand more from our leaders. I'm not saying look at America or Canada. No. Look at your neighbors. Should demand more accountability. And I think we've been beaten down so much for so long that people now feel that these people are their gods. We have to worship them. We've been divided along ethnic lines, religious lines, that people can't even think about the common good. Look at what happened during NSAS. You see, that was the only time, I think, where most Nigerians, especially from the South, had a target, and the target was police brutality. And they know it. But if you look at the North, they didn't experience that as much as the South. But the young people in the South said, okay, they forgot the differences and said, we have to do something about this. This is something we feel, all of us. And they came out and they did something. They said, this has to stop. We have to get to the point where poor people in the country, irrespective of where they are from, north, south, east, west, we say we have to end this. We deserve a better country. We have the resources. Nigeria is not poor. If you get all these rich people in Nigeria to pay the kind of taxes their fellow rich people pay in Kenya, in Ghana, in America, in Canada, wherever, Nigeria will have money. We have to get to that point. But what they are doing now is to squeeze the poor people everywhere, not just the federal government. The federal government is going to repeat the same thing they are doing in the states now, squeezing the poor people, the little they have, so that the country can pay its bills. And look at the size of government in Nigeria. Can you imagine that? Look at most people look at the National Assembly. I think beyond the National Assembly, there are so many agencies of government in Nigeria that I don't know what they're doing. They shouldn't be there. We have people that supposedly are going to space, people who are building military equipment, gadgets, people just spending money. Look at the NNPC. Every year, billions spent, and they're not producing anything. Why?
Do you think those people you just mentioned now, starting from NNPC, all should be probed and some money gotten from them?
I don't know about probing. I mean, who is probed? Look at the EFCC. They are the people that were supposed to be probing these things. They're all messed up. We don't have any good leader, anybody who will probe whom? Is it people that you set up, they give them bribe and everything ends? I want to close the loopholes. He can probe what he wants, but I'm not interested. Those people spend the money. I mean, do you get it from their girlfriends? The one they spend to get their girlfriends, or the ones they used to send their kids to school abroad? How do you get them back? But let's close the holes first. I don't want to count on how much they are going to get back from people. I don't trust anybody to do the probing. Is it Tinubu that will probe them? Tinubu comes to you now and say, hey, you have a house in America. You shouldn't have a house in America. What about you? Your children have houses everywhere. They can't show us what they did to make the money. How do you say to people, we are in a serious situation, serious problems in the country, and we don't have I don't think we have the skill tool set or the people with the right mentality to approach this. Who are surrounded? Who are the people around Tinubu? Look at them. Ganduje. Are they the people that will insist that this should be done? What you are saying should be done now.
Okay. In as much as I wouldn't want to say that Ganduje may not be able to play a big role in this administration, but I'm just hoping that Bola Tinubu because of the outcry and all the things that we saw, not just what we heard, but what we saw about Ganduria and co. That he might not give him any overt,
but look at Bayo
appointment.
Anenoga, for instance, who is speaking for the president. Should Bayo be the spokesman for the president? Look at the encounter Bayo and Charlie Boy. Bayo is saying to Charlie Boy, the police, that they should arrest him. The security agencies should arrest him because he was saying to the young people in Nigeria, look at what they are doing in France. But go back to what Bayo wrote during the election, telling some people in Lagos that you have no business participating in politics in Lagos. This is your last warning. And he's speaking for Bola Tinubu. Why will I have confidence that Tinubu is going to bring the right people in the right places? So
Okay.
I'm waiting, I'm hopeful. I mean, I wish that what you're saying will happen, but I don't know how it's going to happen, knowing Nigeria and knowing the person at the top, because they have his record. There are people who know where he went to school, where he was born. There are people who know everything about Bola Tinubu. They're in Nigeria. The security agencies in Nigeria, these people, they know where his money. They know who owns Alpha Beta. The people know this. You may not know it, I may not know it, but there are people who know this. People, and being that they know this, that limits what the guy can do. So,
are you saying because of these baggages that he's carrying about him, he will not be able to act at all, at least to douse this palpable tension in the land?
Oh, he will do better than Buhari, obviously. He will do better than Buhari. Anybody can do better than Buhari. Anybody you pick on the streets will do better than Buhari. So that's true. But it doesn't mean that the exchange rate will go down. It doesn't mean that suffering. Because do you know that 90-something% of our revenue is being used today to service debt? 98%.
Service debt.
Yeah. So that's where you have to start. What is he going to do? And that's why he had to remove the oil subsidy. There was no option.
And foreign direct, as of today, foreign direct inflow is in the negative.
It doesn't matter, but it is. there's not enough that will come in, and it can't come in when you have this kind of situation we have in the country. It cannot. Who we want to invest when there's totally instability everywhere, when there's no transparency? Who wants to invest?
But
only people.
Are there any low-hanging fruits that can be easily plucked, to get us, on the path of sanity within the next 2 years? That if you do this, okay, so we can at least restore confidence in the international community. Are there some low-hanging fruits?
Oh, there are. And I know that he will do some of those things, but my issue is really sincerity, like what they put out there, the student loan thing. They were not sincere. They were not serious. You can't say that people who make less than 500,000 naira are the people who are going to be qualified to get the loan. What are you talking about? Are you living in Nigeria in a different world? What is 500,000 naira? That is if you are making 50,000 naira a month, you will be qualified. But a couple, a family.
Do we even have reliable statistics?
No, but yeah.
Do we have data? Do we have data?
That's true. But what I'm saying
do
is,
you know who are Nigerians and who are not?
Okay, you see how big the problem is. But let's say they want to implement this in September. Okay, because one of the things they're doing, why they are keeping quiet now, is that they want to hopefully, if they go 3 months without paying oil subsidy, there will be money. There will be some money, not a lot. There are various estimates saying 100,000 will be saved every month. That's one estimate. But that's totally wrong. So let's say they will be able to save maybe 50 billion every month, or 100 at best every month. So in 3 months, you have 300 billion to play around with. So they can do things, few things here and there, but you need more. You need to cut back on expenditure of the government.
Okay, before we go to our next topic, which is the ministerial list, which I want you to talk on extensively, let's allow the audience now. Do you have a question for Dr. Damages?
Well, for now, I'm still enjoying the flow.
Okay, you're still enjoying the flow.
Yeah.
Okay. That is very good. Now, Dr. Damages, for me, I really don't know where to really start because the problems are just multifaceted. Now we understand the tariff for electricity that does not even exist. The tariff is going up. Apart from the fuel that they don't get, you need money to even buy gas to power your generator because there is no light. And even that light, once you have it, I understand the tariff is out of this world. So all these are facing the common man. What do you think the government can quickly do, at least to dull the tension, and let things go? I'm not talking about, some people are talking about pay them some money. Like, in New York, remember that time now, or those who are immediately after the COVID-19 something, the palliative that the government pays to each and everybody's account. This one, it does not go through any third party that will warehouse your money and be making you to hope. So the government directly pays into the people's account. Are you expecting something like that for Nigerians, or something that will be more long lasting? Okay, because if you give them 5,000 or even 10,000 or even 20,000, how long will that last then?
You know that the former Minister for Finance under Buhari got $800 million from the World Bank, and part of the money is to help the poorest Nigerians. They said the 50 million poorest Nigerians, and based on their calculation, they were going to give them, I think, 17,000 naira or so. What would that do? If you go to the market today, the prices of everything has doubled. Almost everything. We talk to people on the street in Nigeria, the prices of almost everything doubled. To go from Lagos to Onitsha today is about 35,000 naira. 35,000 naira. So let's say your son or your daughter is going to go for youth service in Onitsha from Lagos. They have to pay 35,000 naira for transportation to go there. That money is gone. The cost of going from one spot to another in Lagos, in Abuja, has doubled. So most places are 500 naira now. If you enter one drop from one place to the other place, 500. If you do that every day, 20 days in a month, times 500, how much do you have left in the money you make? What do you have for rent? What do you have to feed? What do you have? So it's a very daunting thing that they are facing. I'm not being paid to think for them. They are the ones who wanted to govern me. They should have thought about this. I mean, it's really tough. I don't envy them. But for them to get the support of the people, the goodwill of the people, they didn't even start well, because the election was not clean, was not transparent, So already you are dealing with more than half of the population who are refusing to believe that you won the presidency. So there's so many problems. I wish him the best. I don't want to be Bola Tinubu. I mean, if I were him, the first place to actually start was, what Yaradua did when he got in? Yaradua got in and said, the first thing he did was to say, look, the process that brought me into this position is faulty. I don't like it, and I want to do something about it. Tinubu is acting as if he won a landslide. He's oblivious of what is going on, that people don't feel that he's a legitimate president. So that's where to start. You have to get the support of the people, and then you put in this oil subsidy immediately. You know what it means? I know what they're doing. This is the plan. The plan is that when they get some money, let's say in 3 months' time, they get some money through this oil subsidy thing, And they can do few things. They can bring some buses and put on the streets of Lagos, Abuja, big cities of the country and say, oh, this is free for civil servants or free for you to go to. They could increase the pay of workers. And of course, Nigeria being what it is, any small thing, people will clap, people will say, okay, they care about us. But if you look at the actual problem, would that be solved? Would that make an impact? No, it won't. Look at the Naira and the dollar, the exchange rates. They made one, we were told. So what happened? It's going to keep going up. The pounds today is 1,000 Naira to 1 pound. The dollar is going to probably reach 1,000 Naira to $1 by next year. Where would that leave the poor people? Where would that leave them even if you double their pay? At this point, I spoke to people in Nigeria. If you double their pay, based on what is going on now, how things have gone up, the quality of their lives will be lower than what it was under Buhari. So it's a tough call, and it's not helping us that the person who is there is not someone that has the goodwill of most Nigerians. I don't know what he's going to do. Build roads. Look at Lagos Ibadan Expressway. They've been building this since I was born. I don't know when it's still there. It's still going on. What would they do? I don't know. I know that I really wish that there will be a magic wand. I want things to work in that country. It's for my own benefit. If things are going well, I can go back and write poetry and write short stories and stop doing these things I'm doing. Yeah. That's what I want to do.
You are not alone.
I write novels, but now we are talking politics every day because people are suffering. It touches us.
Okay, you see, recently President Ruto called his cabinet and his countrymen, was telling them what he was going to do, that because of the poverty in the land and the suffering, he's going to reduce their own salary and emolument, starting from himself, the president, and down the ladder, that is going to make sure that the salaries are reduced, that the gap between the highest paid and the lowest paid is just too wide. It's going to bridge it because they are all working for Kenya. Do you see a president like that in Nigeria? If we have a president like that in Nigeria, do you think people will now have confidence in him as, oh, this guy is on the right track?
You see, I don't know why Tinubu has not done that. He doesn't need the money of Nigerians. He's rich. The money that he gets from Lagos is enough for him. Why hasn't he done? These are things that I don't understand why
I was expecting that would be one of the low-hanging fruits I was talking about.
I don't understand. He has a private jet, and there are many things he could do. But
don't forget, Dr. Damages. The wife said recently that we don't need Nigerian money.
Yeah.
God has already blessed us.
But the
I
wife
was thinking that would be the first thing the man would do.
But the wife is disingenuous too. Remember that the wife also told us she borrowed money from Shetima's wife, that she had no money. Well, what do you believe? These people are not serious. See what I mean, that they are not serious. There's no way I can count on what is coming out of their mouths. Because they are playing. They think that this is a joke. They think that governing a country is a joke, a country like Nigeria. I mean, we may laugh over this. We may give them, because Nigerians are not serious themselves. But history will not be kind to us, to our generation. 200 years from now, people who will occupy that place, when they read about what happened on Laos, the snake eats the money. People will look at us as idiots, stupid people. I mean, these dark ages. That's how they would describe our era, all of us.
Okay, I know you've dealt with this. Just by way of reminder, the president of Zambia recently announced that his labor minister, he fired him. Now, you know why he fired the labor minister? The money the labor minister received to do a particular thing, he didn't do it. The money was resident in the hand of the labor minister because he took the money out in the first place, thereby depriving some sectors of the opportunity of utilizing that money. So he has not even spent the money. The president has fired him and is going to be prosecuted for just doing that, labor minister. And many other people who have defrauded the country, maybe the COVID-19 committee, the money, some of them, the money find their ways in some people's pocket. All of them are going to be prosecuted. Don't you think that's one way of starting on a very clean slate to show that this president is serious?
Yeah, but look at the case of Emefiele, the Godwin, the former CBN governor. If their intention is to do what you are saying, okay, it shouldn't be DSS that should be handling the case. One, they should hand it over to the normal people who should handle it, the police and the whether it's the federal EFCC or whichever organization, and they come out openly and try him. These are the charges, but they can't do it. You know why they can't do it? If Emefiele should start talking, people will be running away. If they should reveal documents about who got what on the Emefiele, that's why you see Buhari in wherever he is saying nobody should come to me, nobody should tell me about probe, nobody. If they open up what Emefiele did, all the people that approve, because Emefiele is just somebody they are picking on, because it's easy to pick on him. There are people who signed up for him to bring out money and give to this person. You know what I would have loved to see happen in Nigeria? I would have liked to see an opposition party win this election. Not because I don't care about Tinubu or I don't care, but they will have been able to reveal what happened in the administration that left. But now we're not going to know that. They will never open it up because they are all involved. All these people you see, they are all involved. Their friends are involved. So I'm not expecting that to happen. The reason why it will not happen is that's what we're saying. If your hands are not clean, and I'm not saying that there's anybody whose hands are perfectly clean, but if you are carrying a lot and it's all dropping everywhere, you can't do something like that. You will never see Emefiele stand up in court and with camera, with the media, and he's being tried, he's being asked to explain all the money that it will never happen, because it will go back to the same people who you are seeing now in the corridors of power. Is Akpabio not your Senate president? Do you know how much charges were hanging on Akpabio's head? And he's now going to be the Senate president, the one that will approve ministers. How do you expect Akpabio to say to someone like, if they appoint Wike as minister now, you can't be minister because why? Why will Akpabio say that? So why are people having hope that there will be change? And don't see any sign that there will be transformation. Look at the DSS.
One thing that even shocked me this morning while I was watching Sunrise, I think the minority leader in the Senate, I've forgotten his name, the guy from the North Central. So he was being asked, is there anything you are going to do about the emolument of senators and all that, because there is so much hunger in the land? What can you do? I mean, to kind of reduce your allowances and emolument. He was just rambling. He couldn't say anything to the specific. I think we are in trouble.
Of course.
Because, because I was expecting somebody like a principal officer in the Senate to say, oh, definitely, I'm going to convince my colleague to do something by slashing our fat emolument in order to be able to plug so many. I was expecting something, but unfortunately, he didn't come. I just said, we are in trouble. He's supposed to be your PDP. He's a PDP guy. So the people were afraid that he will not be subsumed into the APC shenanigan, so that he will be a rubber stamp. He said, no, he was not going to be a rubber stamp and all that, but he didn't say something that was very vital that Nigerians were expecting to hear from him.
When Jonathan was in office, the APC, they were in opposition. What were they saying? They were the ones who were saying, oh, we're going to restructure the country when we come in. We're going to do this and do that when we come in. And they came in. Did you hear anything about that? They were complaining about the pay of senators and lawmakers when they were in the opposition. When they started getting that money, did you hear anything about that? You know, they were complaining that Jonathan was flying, that we had 8 presidential jets. When they got it, did they do anything about that? No. So I don't know why anybody should have confidence in or trust in all these people. I don't know. They've not shown me any sign that they are serious people, that they understand the serious nature of the country, the situation in the country. And until the Nigerian people wake up one day and say, we can't take this. But
you just took the word from my mouth now. I was going to ask that. What is the role of the people? Because, like I said in my previous podcast, I said since I was born, and I was not exaggerating, the Nigerian government have been telling us to tighten our belt, that there is economic measure, very soon we will enjoy it. We were all tightening belt since I was born. Up till now, we are still being enjoined to tighten our belt. We don't even have ways to tighten again because everything has disappeared. But those who are asking us to tighten belt, their stomach are protruding every day, eating our money and all that. They don't even wear belt because it's agbada they wear. Now, the problem is our youth are watching the lawmakers. The so-called vibrant youth, they are watching the lawmaker, they see all the recklessness, they see all these things, and they are still condoning it. What do you think the youth should do to take the future of their lives into their hands?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, because they came out to protest during NSAS, they were killed. But they can't give up. We can't give up. I've not given up. For how many years now? I've been on this commentary on Nigeria. Sometimes when I want to write a column, I will remember what I wrote on that Obasanjo. I will just go and read it, and I will take out Obasanjo and put Jonathan. I take out Obasanjo and put Buhari. I republish it. It will fly. Change the names of the ministers and everything will be the same. We're saying the same thing, and it hasn't changed, but we can't give up.
Dr. Dami, just what you just said now, I remember when I was still around there, and this channels television, because there was no Arise News then, the channels television, the AIT, and all of them were calling me to come and discuss issues on politics. It got to a point, I think around 2014, I told all of them, the Mount Bay and Co. So do not invite me for politics again, because I've been doing this for the past 15 years. And there is every likelihood that what you invite me to come and say now was the same thing I said 15 years ago. So I don't have time. I can't wait. I say, look, if it is now issue of security, you can invite me. But politics, no. I've been doing this for 15 years, and yet the same thing, just what you just said. You can just replace the name, because the same thing, nothing is changing.
Yeah.
So what do we do?
Well, it's above my pay grade. The first thing is this. I think we give up very easily. The people, we give up very easily. We're easily mesmerized by these politicians. If they come in, if Tinubu goes anywhere, even Buhari, even when people are dying, we're dying, or they're still dying in Castina. Buhari will go home, people will line up and be waving at him. Why? If he goes to Zamfara today, people will come out and be clapping for him. Why? Why? There was this picture I saw of all the past leaders of Nigeria. That someone put them on a collage, and they said, these are the people who could not give us clean water. Just think about this. This is what they have in Kenya, in Ghana, in Benin Republic, Burkina Faso, Nigeria, the giant of Africa. You can turn a tap. Some people didn't know that you can actually have a pipe inside your house, turn it on, and you get water. People don't know it's possible. There are people who were living in Nigeria today who have never seen something like that. But go to a foreign country, Senegal, you have water coming into your house. That's where we have to start.
We don't even talk of Rwanda, because that one has
we're not talking about advanced countries. This is an advanced country. No, we're talking. That's an advanced country. I think wow. What we might have to start doing is to get these young people to visit other African countries. And when they come back, they will begin to demand for the basics. We're talking about the basics, so we're not talking about going to the moon.
The
basic things. Yeah. It's unfortunate, and they've mastered us. They mastered the masses. These politicians know how to divide the masses, and we fall for it all the time.
We're tokenism. So tokenism. Just go and sing borehole somewhere. They will be clapping, as if the people have done it with their own money.
Yeah. So,
Okay, so what awareness do you think? Okay, you said the youth. Are you saying the youth are doing their best?
well, they've tried, they beat them down, but they have to keep finding new ways. You know, if you try one thing and it didn't work, you try something else. There has to be a way to constantly, because that's the only country we have. You have to do something. A generation is going to be, again, be wasted. Their time and their lives will be wasted, and then another generation will come up, and things are getting worse. I wish them well, and I continue to engage, you know, because I believe that every voice is needed. Every voice is needed. There will always be people who are going to be praising these people in power, even when they cannot provide any proof of what they've accomplished, why they deserve to be called honorable or His Excellency. I don't know why. I don't know any governor in Nigeria who deserves to be called His Excellency.
In fact, that is
I don't
one
know.
thing. That's one revolution I was going to introduce to Nigeria. That look, I will not call. Look, unless I know your pedigree, I know you are worthy of that name. I will not call you Your Excellency or Honorable. It's like we've lost the sense of the meanings of these words. What is honorable? Who is an honorable man?
Yeah,
Okay,
an
and all
honorable
the
man that they cannot tell us how much he's making, how much he declared in his access form. You're honorable. We don't know. We don't know anything. No, how can you be honorable?
And look at the revelation of Kudanji. Is that what's the name of that guy?
Oh,
That honorable Kudanji.
yeah.
Who exposed his colleagues and all that. You know? Do you know some of his colleagues were shouting him down? They didn't want him to actually continue his revelation. You
Yeah,
know?
but the man also, you see, they're all flawed characters. Because my
Hmm.
issue with him was, there was one place where he was talking, and he gave excuses. They always make excuses for Buhari. He was making excuses for Buhari. Oh, he doesn't know. They just tell him to sign something. He signed. What are you talking about? If he's the
It's
one who is in
unfortunate.
charge and
You know?
these things are happening, you should tell him to leave. You see, we don't know how far we have to go to achieve what we want. We think it's a joke, you know. To
Yeah,
me,
thank you, this Honorable Kazauri. Yeah,
yeah,
Kazauri.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's so they don't understand it. You can't say, because this is my brother, this is my sister, I'll protect him and then hope that somehow we are going to fix it. No. If you actually want to change something, you have to, everybody involved. And that's what is wrong with the country. If we have a leader that we say, if this is wrong, it's wrong, and everybody who does this will be punished, then there won't be this problem at all. But the thing is that when some other people do it and it's okay, these people do it, then you come out and show you. Why Buhari failed with insecurity in the country was simple, that he felt that these people who are being accused of killing people are my people. So I'm not going to apply common sense. I'm not going to take action. That's where he failed. And I hope Tinubu will not behave that way.
Okay, so before we get to that, so are there people who want to ask a guest question? Dr. Damages have been doing justice to all the topics since almost 30 minutes ago, and he has less than 40
No,
minutes with
20,
us.
20,
Less than
20 minutes. I discovered
20
that
minutes?
I have to drive to where I had to
Oh,
be.
okay,
You know, I just discovered.
okay. He has barely 20 minutes with
Yeah.
us. Are there questions before we talk about ministerial leave? Are there questions you want to ask Dr. Damages?
Yes, yeah.
Uh,
I don't bite.
yeah, he doesn't buy it. He doesn't buy it. Tisa, do you have any question for him? I saw Ifeanyi a while ago, MJ City. Are you still there?
How do I is there a way I can beam this to my my Instagram? I don't know how to do.
How you
I'm
can?
show this on my Instagram account.
Oh, I do not need to tell you. Yes.
I'm not good at it.
On this platform, I'm still learning.
Okay, all right, no problem.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah, but he is Dr. Damages. You must have been listening to his podcast. Look, the moment the news, he breaks news. Anyway, he breaks the news. So he's a popular guy. You can download him, or
Yeah,
how to reach you.
I'm on Instagram, on YouTube, and Facebook
And
as
Facebook.
Dr. Dam. Yeah, Dr.
Dr.
Damages. At Dr. Damages.
Damages.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
he's our special guest today. Do you have any question for him? Okay, it's like you are absorbing his, you are drinking profusely from his wealth of knowledge. Let's talk about ministerially. What kind of human beings do you think should make that list?
okay. So I've not seen the list. I don't. I know they are fake.
I don't think anybody has seen it. We are just trying to set agenda.
There are fake things going around.
Yeah.
But there was something I read that gave me hope. Was somewhere I read that Tinubu has decided to pick technocrats instead of politicians. I don't know whether it's true or not. I hope that he will pick people not on the basis of how they supported him during the election, but pick people who are capable of doing some things, making some changes. Because we need big changes in the country. I don't know. I don't know. That's the only hope we have. I know that when Buhari picked someone like Fayemi, for example, I don't know Fayemi personally, but I know people who were around him. When he got to, I heard that when he got to the ministry, he discovered that he wanted to fire a lot of people because there were a lot of incompetent people there. But he discovered that he could not, because those people in those directors of this and this were there representing some other people, big people in the country. So you know what he did in the Ministry of, I think he was in the Ministry of Solid Minerals or so.
Mm-hmm.
What he did was to get some grants from the EU and some other foreign organizations to now hire people to do the work, while the people who are incompetent continue to remain at the ministry, because he couldn't fire them. So he had people who were being paid in dollars, who were going to be consultants, who were going to actually do the work. So we have serious problems in that country. Serious. People don't know the degree of the rot, how we got to where we are. So there are two things. People say to me, if you bring technocrats, that most of the things in Nigeria, issues in Nigeria, they are political. That some of them don't know how to navigate politics. So they give an example, like the challenges that someone like Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala had when she was minister. She couldn't. The politics was difficult, and under someone like Obasanjo, people can be effective under a leader like Obasanjo. Not that I like Obasanjo or that I think he did well. No, he didn't do well. But under someone like Obasanjo, who basically ignores laws and people, if he had trust in you, he could send you out there and say, go and do, I'm behind you. But under Jonathan, he wasn't strong enough to say, I'm behind you. So maybe under Tinubu, if he had technocrats who want to change things, he might be able to say, I'm behind you. But the problem with Tinubu is back to the same thing. The baggage. So let's say Tinubu appoints you as Minister for Education, and you get there and you see that, oh, this guy from Kano had to go. This director from Kano, totally useless, had to go. And you want to fire the director, and Ganduje calls Tinubu and says, hey, this is your man. I don't know where you got him from America. He wants to take out my man. And Tinubu calls you and says, hey, you can't do that. That's it. That's the end of your reform. Case closed. So it's not that we have not had people who are interested in changing things in the country. We just have all these things we take for granted. They slow down. They end that reform efforts because we allowed it to be that way.
Would you be surprised to see Ganduje as one of the ministers?
At this point, I hope not. you know, when I've been watching to see the people that he will appoint as his media aides, and I've not seen Bayo, I've not seen although Bayo still hangs around the president, I've not seen someone like Femi Fani-Kayode. So I think they are getting the message that that some of these characters should not be around a president, not just Tinubu, any president of any country. Even Afghanistan, you know, even Somalia, they shouldn't be around the president. So hopefully they will get the message that someone like Ganduje shouldn't be a minister in a serious country. It doesn't show that the government is serious, you know. So watch, and then even if they appoint people like that, you would think that the people in the Senate will be able to stop them. But with Ababio there, take a bow. That's what you're going to see. Take a bow. How will Fabio wake up and stand up and say, look, you have corruption cases against you. We are not going to make you a minister in Nigeria. He can't say that. But these are the things that we need to be able to say. This is when you know the country is getting somewhere, where somebody will be named a minister and the media will be able to, and the lawmakers will be able to look at the past of the person and say, based on your past, based on what you did here and here, we don't think you are the right person to be a minister in Nigeria. That's when you say the country is moving forward in the right direction. But it can't happen on that bad view. It cannot happen under, I'm not expecting it to happen under Tinubu. Because his past, we don't know. So he's going to be blinded by his own flaws.
Dr. Damage, there's something that has been troubling me.
Okay.
I remember in the 80s, the late 80s, when Delegiwa was killed. Okay. Now, the press at that time was very vibrant. Year in, year out, we kept reading. Of course, we're in the media together. We kept reading who killed Delegiwa, to bring to the consciousness of the people that somebody was responsible for that dastardly act. Now, today, can you compare the media of the 80s, 90s to the media today, in spite of the fact that the media has a kind of spread, has become more powerful because of the advent of internet and social media and all that? Do you see the media being able to do investigative journalism like it used to be in those days? Because all the monies that have been swallowed by snakes, the ones that have been eaten by termites, and all these things, nobody talks about them again. The multi-billion naira or dollars that recovered from the accountant general, okay, they are just too humongous. How many will you be mentioning? Nobody talks about them again. They seem to have been forgotten. It's like when you want to remember that, new one will come. When you want to remember the one of yesterday, another one will come. Now, is the media overwhelmed?
Oh, media conversation is going to take days if we are going to begin that conversation. After more than 30 years in the media, you know, a lot of things have changed. You know, how did they say that? That every society is, they will get the media they deserve. Nigeria also is the same way. The question to ask, media is in trouble all over the world first, not just in Nigeria. So do you know that? Let me shock you. If you remove if you remove the foundations that support the media in Nigeria, we may not have any media left. We may just have no media left. Do you know that how many people pay for media in Nigeria today? How many? Do you know that all the newspapers in Nigeria, I don't think they publish up to 200,000 copies a day. All the papers in the country. You're talking about the 80s when you have Vanguard or Concord publishing up to 1 million copies. So the media has no money. They can't even pay the workers, you know, and you expect them to do what? Some people write me sometimes and say, oh, when we are at Sahara, we want you to send somebody to go to River State. So let's say a newspaper in Lagos, Vanguard. Here's a story. happening in Rivers State, and they want to cover the story, and they don't have a reporter in Rivers. Most papers don't have anybody anymore in the state capitals. So they have to fly somebody in. That's 100 something thousand. Maybe now it's 200,000 to go from Lagos to Rivers State and come back. Keep them in a hotel. By the time you go on that assignment, it's over 1 million naira, maybe, to do that story, one story. Where would they find the money? Where? How can I afford it? They can't. So we expect a lot from the media. We don't ask them, how do you survive? How are you paying the bills? I'm not saying there are problems in the media. There are problems. If not for online media, we probably will not be talking about Nigerian media today. Online media and foundations that support online media. We probably have no media at this point. One thing that online media, they did very well was that, the cost of publishing online is a lot cheaper than the cost of printing, having a big office, hiring drivers, distributors, and all those. Vanguard, for instance, may have up to 300 people staff. But if you go to Premium Times or Sahara Reporters, they don't have anything close to that stuff. And they do equal the amount of reporting and stories that transform the country. And then you say to the media, all the news they broke, the Zani, all those stories you are talking about, what happened to them? What did the country do? Didn't this former governor of Delta State, what's his name, Ibori, come back to the country, and people were hailing him?
He is still pontificating now.
Exactly. He may be a minister. Don't be surprised. If you were the reporter that went and broke the story, or the risk you took to get the story, and you see him coming out and people welcoming him back, how do you feel? So it's difficult. There are reporters today who are paid minimum wage, and you expect them to do what? One reporter was saying that he paid 50,000 naira to fill his car. A senior reporter in Lagos, 50,000, and it won't last a week. And you are sure that he doesn't maybe average 200,000. This is a senior editor, actually. I don't want to mention the name. So how do you expect that person to take care of family, feed? How? And of course, we see also that experienced hands in the media. This is how the Nigerian media works. You come in, you make an impact, you go and join an NPC as PR, their public relation officer. You go and join the bank. So experienced hands are not there anymore to guide.
Or spokesperson for a governor, or legal chief for
the president. Experienced hands are not there to guide the young ones. And then people complain, oh, the quality of the media is, it has to be bad. Because you're not paying them well. They're not paid well. You don't even pay for the media. You don't pay for if Vanguard and Guardian and Punch, if they put a paywall on their site, nobody will read them. Nobody. They're closed. So we have serious problems, and until the country, I like what we do online, and sometimes I say to people, we do this, and people think it's all free. It's free press. You don't have to pay for it. You don't have to support it, and then you wonder how they can go further than what they are doing. They can do all they can. That's all they can do. We have to support the press. We have to have more independent press. People supported public radio in America. We have to have that. People have to. The fact that you don't buy newspapers today, you go online and read it. You have to find a way to support the media.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
You don't expect them to do magic. If all the papers in the country publish 100,000 copies and they sell it for 200 naira. That's all the money that they get, other than adverts. Count the adverts, and then you pay workers and everything. What is left? How are they going to get the money to be able to do investigative reporting? They're expensive. They can be on a story for 1 month.
Wow. In other words, the advent of internet and social media is a kind of blessing. So,
Oh yeah, of course, of course. Otherwise, we won't be talking about this. Take out all these People's Gazette, Premium Times, Sahara, Cable. I don't know what will be out there. I don't know when you will hear a break. What was the last time that Vanguard broke a story, or Guardian, a big story? When was the last time? What was the story?
wow.
So,
Okay, the last one, Dr. Damedi, before we let you go, the last one, please. Now, recently there was this international forum where President Ruto actually showed the world the kind of stuff he's made up, and Ramaphosa of South Africa. So these were actually the star boys of that international forum. It pained me so much that Nigeria, which called itself the giant of Africa, I mean, we did not see Nigeria represented in that kind of August, forum. I was expecting that Nigeria will actually take the center stage to actually marshal out and vocalize the views of Africa, being the giant of the region. So, do you see Nigeria playing any numero uno role in international fora going forward?
So that's a good example. That will illustrate what I started with. Okay, so Bola Tinubu during the campaign refused to debate, and people thought it was okay. I said this is terrible. People thought it was okay. You don't have to debate. He went to Chatham House. He was asked questions. He distributed it to other people. People thought it was okay because it's Tinubu, it's my Tinubu, it's our Tinubu. But we have to think beyond our own interests. And he went to Paris. He didn't speak. And Ruto is coming out now to be the leader of Africa, the African leader that is top notch.
Undisputably.
Yeah.
Undisputably.
So and we are surprised. Why are you surprised? Didn't you see that? You see, when the Obasanjo refused to debate, I was screaming that this is terrible. We can't let that happen. People say, it's Obasanjo, it's our Obasanjo. And of course, Yaradua did the same thing, Jonathan, and it continues. And now this is the outcome. We are looking at the world and Nigeria is being left behind. I can't imagine him coming to the UN here to speak in September. It will be interesting. We will be there. And it's look, okay, look, this is something that should worry you, my friend. He went to Paris. He spoke to Nigerians because people were complaining that did he go there to look at Paris? What was the mission? So he decided to meet some Nigerians. These are friendly Nigerians, handpicked, not people like you or me, friendly Nigerians.
Or Dr. Damedis.
Yeah, they won't let people like me. They've not done that in a long time. So, but he spoke to them. This is something that should shock everybody who is a Nigerian. There were cameras there. There were about at least 30 people there. I think channels were there, the TV channel and other TV stations. But we don't have the video till today of Tinubu speaking there. I've searched YouTube. Nobody posted. And people they had their cameras. Nobody posted the video of Tinubu speaking there. We only saw one small clip. You know why? There were things that happened there that they did not want the world to see. So when you are talking about demand and lack of transparency, this is a presidency that will be very opaque. People will not know what is going on because and that doesn't help the country. We're not going to go anywhere in this kind of structure. It's unfortunate. I hope that they say, how did they say that Tinubu will show Nigerians shege? That Buhari showed Nigerians shege. What did they say Tinubu will do? I forgot.
We'll show that shege banza.
Aha, exactly. So maybe after this, Nigerians will wake up. Because there is no way, there's no amount of palliative he's going to give that will reduce the impact of all these policies. And he needs these policies to be in place. to be able to pay back the money we're owing in the Chinese and all the people we're owing. Because you know why? They stopped giving us money. It's like your credit card is your max, all your credit card max. Nobody will give you a new credit until you pay down, or you have a new stream of income. So that's the new stream of income. That's what he's trying to get by removing subsidy on education. Because what they're going to do now is that now that he flew out and said there is student loan, all the colleges and universities in Nigeria will now be putting school fees, increasing school fees, because people cannot complain. You can get a loan if you can't pay. Meanwhile, the loan is not for people who are in colleges. I don't know anybody who makes 500,000 naira a year who can afford to send their kids to universities in Nigeria. But that's what we are facing today. So Nigerians may have to suffer more to the point where they will begin to say, okay, we have to forget all these divisions, lines of divisions. We have to insist on and raise our expectations and insist on transparency and accountability. That's all we need to do.
Wow.
Wow.
Dr. Damages, just in 2 minutes. Okay. Just in 2 minutes before you go, in 2 minutes. Now, the recent bonanza that have been announced for the retired service chiefs, many people have been crying over it. Is there any reason to cry over it?
No, the people crying are just ignorant, uninformed, because they have not asked. What do you know? What they give? What the governors gave themselves? Do you know the retirement package that Tinubu signed off on for himself? That Amechi signed off for himself? That all these governors, do they know that? They don't know. That's why they are complaining about army chiefs. Why would they complain? Army chiefs, you have to keep them happy. Remember, they have their boys. You don't want them to start thinking of, okay, I was building a house, I've not finished building this house, and you just stop me from being. You have to, no, this is nothing. And that's the problem I have with Nigerians. Any small thing they complain because they don't have any history. They don't have history of what's going on in their country. Go and check. Governors like Lagos State governors in River State, even poor states, governors in Kano, even poor states, they give their retired governors and their deputy the same amount of money, the same amount of vehicles, treatment abroad, the same waste. In fact, most states, the fact that they don't have money to pay their workers is because of all these things. They give them a house in Abuja, a house at the capital of the state. They give them a house in their village. Unbelievable. It's not happening in churches too. I heard that bishops, when they retire, they build a house for them. The church will build a mansion, not a house.
Dr. Damages, I'm sorry. Look, if the chief executives of companies and corporations are getting this fat, what do you call it, payoff when they are leaving, the generals are getting fat payoff, the governors are getting fat payoff. Are the professors not being cheated out of these whole scenarios? Come on, let's talk.
But the
professors will use all their life to read and teach and teach. Now, are they not being cheated? Is it because they don't have the guns?
Wait, you're a professor. You are teaching students who will become business executives. So let the professors go and start their own business. I don't quarrel with the businesses paying their whatever they do. It's their own. They are not public. It's not public fund. So let the professors go and start their own business.
But that would be a kind of what do you call it, about interest? Duplicity of interest.
No, I don't mean they should.
How will you be able to teach when you are negative in business?
They should leave the universities and go and start businesses.
Okay.
if they are mad. I don't mean no. What I'm saying is that you're right. That they are not being they're not being taken care of. And that's why we have the best people we have in the country. They are gone. The only people who are still teaching in Nigeria are people who cannot stomach the headache we deal with when we live abroad. That's it. It's not easy, So that's why they are still there. Otherwise, why would you be there and be making $1,000 when you can make 7,000, 8,000 as professors abroad? Some of them cannot withstand the rigor, You're not going to talk to students anyhow. I had a professor in my school who didn't show up in class. Oh, the whole semester, and then give us an exam. You can't do that abroad. So that's why they are staying in Nigeria. Some of them are staying in Nigeria.
when a student will miss your exam, I'll be asking you to organize another exam for him alone to write.
Yeah.
Something you don't even muster that in Nigeria. And you have to do it.
Yep.
You have to accommodate the student. Anyway.
So it's not easy. I got to go. Thank you so much, Prof.
Thank you so much, Professor Dr. Damages. Think you so much. It's been a pleasure to have you live on this program. For those of you who don't know Dr. Damages, he has given you his, I think his handle. That Dr. Damages, just Google it. Google Dr. Damages.
Yeah,
you see it all over.
Instagram, Facebook, and everywhere. It's Dr.
Everywhere.
Damages. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dr. Damages.
Thank you.
So your next program, hope to see you there.
See you on Saturday.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Take care.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, so we'll be talking about a whole lot of things about Nigeria, all the plethora of problems that this country is facing, and how to really face the future. So Dr. Damages has done a lot of, explanation as to where to go and why we cannot get immediate things that we are expecting. All the obstacles and hiccups and all that he has discussed with us on this program. So I thank you for those of you who participate. Tisa, thank you. Thank you. And so many names that appear here that I cannot begin to read now. Remain Professor Nebulous. Thank you, and God bless you. Bye for now.
Bye.
Thank you.